Bitcoin has its sights set on $78,000. Look at the daily time frame of Bitcoin, how we are working a macro bullish channel and how we are dangerously approaching the channel's ceiling. And you'll tell me, what does it cost the price to reach the ceiling if we have been unstoppable since October 2023 to reach all-time highs? Look. And now I want to share the following reflection with you. Notice that in this rise in the price of Bitcoin in the 1-hour time frame, we are clearly experiencing a micro-bullish channel. Notice the number of downward shakes that the market has made to get rid of long investors, and this, just recently, we have experienced it again. And this is not only seen in the Bitcoin chart, but as you can see in the Ethereum chart in its hourly time frame throughout its bullish stretch, we have constantly experienced market shakes. I think it is quite clear what directionality the large institutions are working on with great priority. So here's the next question. How much desire can the large institutions have to create scenarios of bearish traps with a lot of volatility if their goal is nothing else than to keep going up? And now begins the moment of disclaimers. Look, if we go to the daily time frame of Ethereum, you will already remember that we are also working on a macro bullish channel just like Bitcoin. Only that unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum is not even close to the ceiling of its macro channel. This in itself is not important independently, but it is important to know because the price right now is at an extremely critical point. Hence, I told you that I'm going to present you with a disclaimer of all this idea of continuing to look upwards. Well, we would be a bit foolish if we didn't remember where we come from. Look at the Ethereum chart at its all-time high, dating back to November 2021. Here, smart money started a distribution process, a distribution that has left us with a transactional volume of great relevance. Keep in mind that at this level, specifically at $4,050, we have a large number of buyers and sellers located at this price level. And what does that imply? It implies the following. Now let's travel to the present. Look. What it implies is that if we identify a node of great volume, those investors who, for example, were long at all-time highs, and then the price plummeted, now that the price returns to the same level, they will want to stop suffering and they will transform that purchase into a sale. Hence, nodes of great volume have an initial importance in their first contact. Obviously, this is not a law, nor is it the Great Wall of China that will cause this level, so to speak, to break with great fury the day after tomorrow. All we are analyzing is that we are at a very specific point, not by chance, which we reached this very Monday, as you can see here. A wedge was formed, which we were drawing for you, which finally collapsed so aggressively, and now it is being attacked again. As I said, it's not the Great Wall of China, but in the first attempt to visit it, it is normal to encounter rejection. And if we cross-reference the information and analyze the Bitcoin chart, also in its 1-hour time frame, look how we have updated Bitcoin's structure. In the end, look at this working angle, because remember that the previous structure passed through other levels, but as you know, we are constantly obligated to update our structures, since the more information the market provides us, the easier our work will be. The important thing is to see how this structure in a very clear, very evident way is working. I imagine you have already noticed, but if not, I'll zoom in so you can see where Bitcoin is right now. And now remember that Ethereum is going to seek and is currently also fighting against the POC of the distribution of November 2021. Look, we are specifically at key levels, boundary levels. But beware, as I mentioned a moment ago, that doesn't mean it's an impenetrable barrier and that it can't be broken to the upside. Well, I think it's pretty obvious what the market bias is. It's highly bullish, and trying to be the genius of the magic lamp and pretending to know and have the location of the reversal, you already know very well that that is very, very dangerous. And that's why we're going to use the Solana chart as a proxy for the crypto market. For you to understand, we are obliged to remember that we are seeing in this quote, and look at the price level of $120. It's a key level explained in previous videos that was recently confirmed before its breakout. Obviously, you are looking at the daily chart and things move very slowly here. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame then. You're seeing the overcoming of the level, the price comes, surpasses it, confirms, structures, generates a trap which we don't care about, and continues its bullish path. All of this at the same time is projecting a bullish wedge above its creek, above its relevant level. So considering the chart's proportion and the necessary time consumption to finish seeing what this quote can do for us in the medium to long term, the usual, the most common thing is that we need some structural literal validation, something more macro, since this has certainly been very quick, very immediate. So let's monitor the Solana wedge. What does this tell us? First point, remember, we are not facing any impenetrable barrier. Therefore, the price can continue to rise without a problem. How are we going to monitor this continuity to know at what point we can start, if it happens, to look down? Maybe the market simply informs us that it will not be a good idea to look down, and then we won't. Let the market work. Let the market express itself. And now I'm going to tell you what we need to see on the chart to know if we continue to bet, and for how long, to the upside or the downside. But first, welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. Now look at the Bitcoin chart in its 15-minute time frame. And here I want to share with you that in the last Crypto Insight live stream, we were observing this compression in the form of a wedge. We were also identifying this trend line on which we were going to expect a deceptive action above it to then expect a downward movement. And we would be seeing Bitcoin, hey, making a trap. That seems like we're approaching the all-time high. But no. And hey, that doesn't mean it's to break to hell. Not by a long shot. We'll see what it's for. Maybe just to continue in the game, and we'll see what happens. And in the same way that we were looking for these shorts in Bitcoin, we were also doing it in Ethereum. Well, you see, we were working on a trend line similar to this one, and what we expected was that this same trend line, when the price was around this point, would be respected to offer us then a bearish continuation. Notice how they defend this zone here. An optimal place for selling, and they defend it. They defend it many times when they are not going to look for that node of great volume, which they do in an immense percentage when they return to the range. You all know that. So, it's also important to give value to what is happening. It's going to be vital to see how the price interacts now, removing the defense zone that already interests us and is very used. It will no longer add value. What will add value is this trend line. Let's see what they want to do with this level. If this is what it claims to be, they will have to push the price. Momentum. Correction replica. Although where we came to look for our most clinical operation was specifically in Cardano, since at this point we were locating a very relevant level, which in the same way, we had our focus specifically on this level, where we were going to expect a trap to look for our short opportunity. Just as I said that I didn't believe that Bitcoin went to kiss the all-time high, please go and hit it hard. Break through it. Here I can say something similar, focusing on the 15-minute time frame. If they haven't set a creek here, why leave this gap? Do you really not want to come touch it or play with it? Let's try to bet that this doesn't break us. Therefore, it will go down. What is ideal? Okay, ideally. Now the price is dropping as we've seen on Ethereum, right? Ultimately, you've seen it on Ethereum. Well, let it drop a bit more if it wants, but not too much. What we want is for it to make a third attempt, whether it's over the creek or over the trap scenario, but let's see if we can simply be part of the range process. Regardless of whether this will ultimately accumulate for us and go long, or if all of that is a trap and it drops. We don't care about that. We want to be part of this game. So, with Ethereum, we're saying that of course we're at a very relevant level, which is a POC, however. This level could easily be taken above. How could they do something like that? Well, you see, as we're observing that we're at boundary levels. Also in Bitcoin, remember? This is Bitcoin, and there's Bitcoin now. What's on the table? Well, maybe they'll set up some kind of trap, but we could anticipate a minimal correction. Who knows if with a trap? However, what would always be the objective? To look up. In summary, do we have a bullish preference? And what will be the way to follow up on this idea? As I said, we're going to use Solana as a proxy. We're going to work on this wedge to see what it does for us. Frankly, we're going to work on this wedge. Let's see what it does for us, since frankly, we don't know if they're going to want to keep extending from there. So I was expecting that previous hypothetical merchant trap. Why not a correction? Either a false wedge breakout to keep going up, or to come and touch the creek. A level that would be interesting to come and look for, considering that the market hasn't stopped offering us deceptive bearish volatility, and why not have it happen once, considering that our preference, let's see what happens, is to look for a similar movement. And something very similar would be happening with Cardano, as here we have identified a defense zone post-breakout of a very relevant creek that we've come to validate even with a trap. And now we have to start thinking that if this whole range is a flat pattern, what we also see clearly is this trend line, this boundary that they have set for us, where they are telling us that if we experience a scenario of validating the macro creek followed by a breakout, if we could be believing ourselves, and you know the implications this would bring to the crypto market, all of this, we would be confirming the breakout of a macro creek that could project us upwards. As you can see, if we continue working on that bullish bias in the long term, however, we are in zones, we are in a context where it makes sense that in the medium term they want to come and visit these low areas where a very good setup would appear to look for that hypothetical continuation. And before we go to Bitcoin, let's go with the Bitget token BGB. As you know, we are monitoring this token as it recently, well known by everyone, experienced a strong explosion in a very short time, where its price was revalued by 83. Hence, we are monitoring the asset looking for those re-entry opportunities in case they want to seek a macro replica. You will remember how we were here looking for buys in case they took us, and later also at these low points, even on the traps. Now, I'm going to tell you that we have updated the structure and that we come from a trap that has confirmed the structure and has generated a defense zone. Not only that, but we have identified a relevant level which we can study to see if it is really an accumulation or distribution process. Look, as you well know, we are at a quite critical point at the top margins of the entire crypto ecosystem due to everything you have seen in this video. If you look at BGB, what have we just done? We have just falsely broken a creek, recovered, and confirmed structure. This is equivalent to everything we are seeing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the rest of the ecosystem. For this reason, while recording this video, we are seeing how this candle is trying to do its thing. And it's a bit because of the justification I'm giving you. It doesn't surprise me. Wow. Okay, let's analyze the volume. Here I do perceive stopping volume, something truly interesting. At the minimum, it does catch my attention that we don't see as much volume. It doesn't seem like they have absorbed too much. It is also true that the hour at which this movement occurred was perhaps not when the highest volume of operators was available in front of a chart. In this candle, we do see strong volume, and here we also see strong volume. This buying candle is the only one that can accompany this stopping volume, as we can label it as the initiation of buys. Here, if we see absorption, look, what I'm seeing now in this chart is that they certainly weren't ready to break now. Given all the context explained in this video, I think that's clear, hence the price is dropping so hard right now. Look, if they're not ready to break now, we also don't know if, frankly, they will ever be ready. What does make sense is to wait for the price at the defense zone. And look, I'm going to send a very clear message here. It makes sense. We'll see what they do, but if they reach the defense zone here, we can look for a long entry for intraday trading. It should be clear that if a percentage of the position goes in our favor, it would be advisable to keep it open in case they decide to break macro structures and offer us the macro bullish replica, which is ultimately what we are looking for. Without trying to guess whether it will happen or not, we are trying to increase our chances of being inside if this occurs. And to what I was going to tell you, this defense zone, if it is lost after this trap context, after this defense zone context, if this is not able to hold, my friends, it is more than likely that we will experience an aggressive bearish climatic action, even exceeding the recent minimum. That's the importance we must give to a defense zone. Interpreting that buyers no longer want to defend their position, that's why looking for a buy here will be accompanied by a tight stop loss in case disaster strikes. Let me explain. Regarding Bitcoin in its 1 hour time frame, as we had been discussing, we find ourselves in this extreme market context. At the same time, if you notice, you will see that we have broken the most recent all-time high. One might wonder if it's a micro trap or, on the contrary, are we ready? As I mentioned, it has taken quite a while to reach $78,000. But well, you know my point of view. We are indeed facing a wall that might be somewhat challenging to break, but we will end up breaking it. I was being serious for a moment, but back to Bitcoin. What we mean is that yes, for the immediate term, why not even create a bigger trap? But it makes sense to look for some kind of correction due to the extreme context we are in. But ultimately, what we do want to look for, whether from $71,000 or even from the base of the channel, is to wait for the formation of a range, which of course can come with a trap or not. But the message is to look for a bullish climactic action. Here, frankly, we will have to monitor the hypothetical correction in case it occurs to try to define the best entry points. Now tell me, what will you prioritize in the market? Will you look for longs or shorts? And if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. Also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell icon so that YouTube notifies you of future publications. And don't forget to share our content with other trading and cryptocurrency communities, as well as with your friends. Good luck with your trading, and until next time.